Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You are only waiting for this moment to arrive. Blackbird, fly. Blackbird, fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these sunken eyes and learn to see all your life. You are only waiting for this moment to be free. Blackbird, fly. Blackbird, fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You are only waiting for this moment to arrive. You are only waiting for this moment to arrive. You are only waiting for this moment to arrive.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to the online service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Stony Brook. My name is June Cerveny, and I am pleased to be your worship associate this morning, co-leading our service with our minister, Reverend Margie Allen. Our Director of Religious Education is Deborah Little. This morning, we wish the happiest of Father's Days to all of you who are gathered now who father people in need of fathering, and to those among us who honor our fathers in our own families today, and remember fathers who have dwelled now amongst the ancestors. In our service this morning, we will be sharing some of our personal and congregational milestones, and thus the service may be just a little bit longer than usual this morning. I'd like to offer a special welcome to anyone new to our fellowship. Perhaps you found us online. Our services vary a great deal in style and content, and we hope you visit us more than once to get a true sense of who we are as a community of faith. Unitarian Universalism is a liberal religion, guided by our 7 principles and multiple sources of inspiration. You will find more information on our webpage, UUFSB.org. Following the morning service, there will be a service for youth and families. You will have to leave this meeting and join that one separately. The link is found both on our webpage and in the special news feed that went out yesterday. At the conclusion of our service, there will be virtual coffee hour. It will take a few minutes for everyone to be admitted to the full gathering, so please be patient while our tech team takes care of doing that. After virtual coffee hour, we will have an opportunity for small group chat. This is a great opportunity to greet old friends and also to maybe meet somebody new. To connect to this, leave the coffee hour and click on the separate link on the webpage or in the special news feed from yesterday. And now I have a special announcement about next Sunday's worship service. Next week, the General Assembly of the UUA will for the very first time exist as an entirely virtual conference. Sessions begin on Wednesday and end on Sunday with morning worship. The UUA has invited congregations throughout the United States to join together for this special worship service. Our congregation will be joining the service live, and this is the very important part. Because we will be joining live, this will happen at a different hour in the morning. Our service next Sunday will begin at 9:45. A Zoom link will be provided as usual on our webpage and in a special news feed. You don't have to do anything new or different. You just click on the link as usual, but remember to do it at 9:45, and our wonderful tech folk will take care of getting us to the service. We enter now into the spirit of worship with the sounding of the morning bell.
May the song of this hammered metal Buddhist bell awaken and summon you and open your hearts and minds to the experience we share this morning.
As I light our chalice this morning, I invite you to light a chalice or candle at home, and I share words adapted from Betsy Dar. May the light of this chalice give light and warmth to our community in all the seasons and all the passages of our lives, when we are joyful and when we are sad. And may we feel the warmth spread from our circle to wider and wider circles until all know that they belong to the one circle of life.
Good people, my beloveds, my dearest dears, on this morning of the second longest day of the year, the day after the summer solstice, we gather again for a service that has become the traditional culmination of our congregational year, the service we call Flowers and Passages. We take account this morning of the year we've shared, recognizing important milestones in our own lives and also in the life of our fellowship itself, which will be entering this fall its 59th year. That's the passages part. The flowers bloom this year inside our meditation. The embodied exchange of flowers that we are used to gives way to something new, which I hope you will love nonetheless. In the news feed yesterday, I hope you saw the information about how we will share personal milestones. No lining up at the microphones this time. Anytime between now and the beginning of our offertory music, you may enter into the Zoom chat one or two short sentences that describe a personal passage or achievement or milestone that you would like to share with everybody. Later in the service, June and I will read them to you. At that time, you will hear the name that your little personal Zoom box goes by, and then the statement that you wrote. And when I say one or two short sentences, I mean maybe up to 20 or so vivid, memorable words. We hope everyone who wants to will have entered their chat in by that time that I mentioned, right before the offertory begins. And if for some reason we aren't able to read them all, don't worry, because they'll all appear again in upcoming news feeds. Your milestone could be any important movement in your life since last June. Could be a loss, a commitment, a birth, a graduation, a retirement, maybe some skill you mastered, a victory of some kind, an award or honor that you received, a change in your job description, or something like a divorce or a loss, maybe even an insight, something amazing that you saw, a peak experience, or something incredibly disappointing, a diagnosis, a cure. If I were writing such a statement now, I might say something like this. I learned enough about the Arabic language to be able to read aloud from the Quran. Not perfectly, but better and better. So make yours no longer than that, and all manner of things shall be well. Now our opening song is called Stuck in the Middle with You. Have you felt stuck lately? Who here hasn't? There are clowns to the left of us, jokers to the right. And here we are, stuck in the middle. Dr. Dan and company show us how to mix it up in there, in the middle.
I don't know why I came here tonight. I got the feeling that something ain't right. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair, and I'm wondering how I'll get down the stairs. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you, and I'm wondering what it is I should do. It's so hard to keep the smile from my face. Losing control, yeah, I'm all over the place. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Well, you started out with nothing, and proud that you're a self-made man. And your friends, they all come on, slap you on the back and say, please. Trying to make some sense of it all, but I can see that it makes no sense at all. Is it cool to go to sleep on the floor? 'Cause I don't think that I can take it anymore. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Well, you started out with nothing, and you're proud that you're a self-made man. And your friends, they all come crawling, slap you on the back and say, please, please. Well, I don't know why I came here tonight. I got the feeling that something ain't right. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair, and I'm wondering how I'll get downstairs. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you. Stuck in the middle with you. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Wow. Turns out, wasn't that amazing? Turns out I won't be able really to say much here in the sermon spot this week. Most of what I might have said actually landed in other places in the service, fortunately. And I'm sure you'll be able to put it together, the point of Flowers and Passages. This fellowship, this community of like-hearted friends is a vast treasure that you were by chance led to discover one day long ago or yesterday. It's not for keeping. It's for using and giving away, knowing that only by using it and giving it away do we together through the years grow our power to move through our generations and transform us and our world. When you see yourself this morning, see not just the faces you know and love today, but the faces of those who were here among us and are now gone from us, the faces of those who will remain here tending this treasure when we also can be seen only in memory. It is worth more in history than any sum of its parts or any moment in time. This fellowship is an emissary of goodness, directed into a future we cannot see, toward a people we love but cannot know, a gift to a nation and globe we know might one day become a true reflection of our UU principles. But right now we really are stuck in the middle. Clowns to the right and jokers to the left, or vice versa, I forget. Stuck behind a mask, stuck in the house, stuck with others who are stuck in the house, stuck with a malfunctioning government, stuck behind closed national borders, stuck in front of a computer, stuck with a vulnerable body, stuck with the fridge and the couch and the pounds, stuck in the middle between the beauty of the season and the heartbreak and outrage of these times. But remember, whenever your stuckness threatens to overcome you, remember that people like Dan and Deb and Greg and Dixie and Claudia and June and Sam and Dan Dunmeyer and even the dog are among those who are stuck in the middle with you. Where the middle is depends on where you draw the circle, right? You may be stuck, we may be stuck, but we are stuck in the middle with like-hearted friends and a way of interacting that nourishes us and empowers us to use our stuck time well. And stuck doesn't mean helpless or forever or alone even. Stuckness is the seed of innovation, and the people you are stuck with are members of your team. If you've ever been in an escape room, you know how that works. You have to depend upon one another to engineer a way out. Ever been in a workshop where you and some random peers have to put together a skit or a letter to the editor or a work of art? It almost always turns out that you have what you need to create something worthy, even with partners whose foolishness or clownishness blinds you to their inherent worth and genius. So remember that there are people stuck along with you between this rock and this hard place. Our first principle tells us that they have something of worth to contribute. Find out where that treasure lies in them. Stay connected and have fun. Demand fun. Lean on one another. Challenge one another gently. Speak well and truthfully of and to one another. Face one another in the middle, but also don't forget to turn around and to rally others to turn around in order to regard together the margins of the circle you are stuck in and the web of all being that extends beyond you and includes you. Out there are strangers to whom we are also related and for whom we are also responsible. Turn to them in welcome and concern for their welfare, that one day we may all be free and equal and of one heart. Amen. Hymn number 64, Oh, Give Us Pleasure in the Flowers Today, is a setting of a poem by Robert Frost that reminds us to keep our fingers on the pulse of love in springtime. You might recognize the tune from last Sunday. Bethany is going to play a brief introduction, and then we invite you to join in singing or reading or just humming along. The flower communion service is a particularly Unitarian tradition created by the Reverend Norbert Čapek, the founder of the Unitarian Church in Prague, Czechoslovakia. He was born in 1870 and died in a concentration camp in 1942 when his wife was introducing the concept of the flower communion to Unitarians here in the United States. In all the many congregations, Unitarian Universalist congregations that offer a flower communion in the spring, members of the congregation bring a flower as an offering and receive a different one as a gift. The symbolism of the flowers points to our uniqueness and our beauty as individuals. The symbolism of the exchange to the rich communal treasure of our diversity and our belief that sharing that treasure is a path to self-discovery and communal power, our strength and efficacy as a community devoted to love and justice. In the silence that follows my words right now in this time of meditation, please take a moment to key your personal milestone into the chat if you haven't already. After our shared silence, you'll hear Bethany introducing Spirit of Life as usual, and you're welcome to sing along. But today, the musical interlude will be extended because it will accompany our 2020 Flower Communion, the virtual version. Greg will follow Bethany with a guitar instrumental, and while they play, be sure to watch your screen. You won't want to miss what unfolds there. As we move into our shared silence now, remember the chat. Of all that was your life this year, what do you most want this community that loves you to hear about you and remember?
It is our spiritual practice to take an offering which will be shared between our fellowship and an agency doing social justice work. The circumstances caused by the COVID pandemic have put many people into a condition of food insecurity. In response, our Social Action Committee has chosen to make this our Share the Plate focus through August. Donations earmarked for social justice will be divided 80% to Island Heart Food Pantry and 20% to be used to purchase food cards to be dispensed through the Minister's Discretionary Fund. During this period, when we are not able to meet in person, please continue to send your pledge payments and your contributions for our Share the Plate partners. You can mail a check to the UUFSB office, use a bank bill pay service, or use the donate button on the UUFSB website. Details on how to make contributions are found in the special news feed, so please be sure to indicate how you want your contribution to be used. Just check that news feed for detailed instructions.
When I was a boy, each week, Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread. Everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two. Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad. Miracles don't happen still. Now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. So the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water's rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. Now I have to hold my breath like I'm swimming in a sea of it. There used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Read a questioning child's face. Say it's not a testament. That'd be very hard to say. And see another new morning come. Say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood. I saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush, singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out, how things have changed since then. Everything is holy now. There used to be a world half there, heaven second-rate hand-me-down, but I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything is holy now.
This fellowship moves through time just as we do. An entity animated by a changing constellation of people in the flow of generations. Our congregation also faces challenges, forges memories, learns and grows, creates relationships, and develops expertise through the years. I will name now some of the milestones we've reached as a fellowship during this congregational year. 1, this year our board, emergency response team, congregational administrator, and minister from my position half in and half out of sabbatical, responded robustly to the many decisions involved in shutting down our physical operations and managing the consequences thereof. They continued to make discernments from scant data regarding what could and should happen next for us. An extended pastoral care team and worship, tech, and staff leaders collaborated to help us stay connected while physically distanced. The virus isn't revealing its plan for pandemic, but we have a good crew at our helm. Many thanks to each of them. Perhaps you can name some of those individuals in our leadership and key volunteers in the chat right now. If you've never served our fellowship in that engine room, consider saying yes to any invitation to do so that you may receive. If you want to make a difference, learning to lead in a congregation is a wonderful foundation. 2, the fellowship left the fellowship as we went, sorry, my little dog, as we went fully COVID-19 virtual. After one missed service in March, our elite tech team and worship associates created a Sunday service presence for us on Zoom. And that growing team, led by Colleen Rudman and Linda Cortese, Dan Weymouth, continues to enhance our virtual capacity and our experience together. And Deb Little has taken our kids into marvelously creative adventures in worship and play over Zoom as well. And other UUFSB activities entered into that space over time. If you need tech help or know other people who might, please reach out. This is how we COVID, and we want you with us. 3, in the process of going virtual, we've made some discoveries. Snowbirds can Zoom in virtually from places like Arizona and Florida. Tapti Palit's mom attended a service here from her home in India and was delighted to meet us. An incredible software tool on the ultra quick learning curve of the incredible Dan Weymouth can align musicians from many distant rooms to bring our choir and other musical groups, as we saw today, into our Zoom space. Many of the rest of us also took a major step up in our technological capacity, a gift to our personal and our collective futures. And a Sunday morning worship in the comfort of your own home ain't all that bad. Am I right? Number 4, last fall we cleaned up the woods and the foundation shrubbery behind which we had become pretty invisible from the road. We resurfaced our parking lot. We collected resources for making further improvements in the appearance of our grounds. We have an image to cultivate and a welcome to communicate. What we look like from the road says a lot about who we are. Number 5, last fall we were honored at the Long Island Jobs with Justice annual awards dinner for our contribution to building a movement for workers' rights and economic justice. That social justice work continued as we addressed concerns about local food insecurity, racism and white supremacy, and the policing of Black lives. Barbara Coley organized a reparations reading group. Deb Little held a check-in discussion series for youth and adults in the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd. The Board of Trustees responded to a plea from congregants to rehang our Black Lives Matter banner, and up it went. That decision will be the topic of a town hall discussion following next week's service. We dedicated a closet to an ongoing collection of toiletries and self-care items for the Open Door Exchange, and also for a few of our own members in that kind of need. We pitched in to arrange for a number of meals to be delivered to Stony Brook Hospital personnel who are responding to the pandemic. And we now host Long Island Care's food pantry in our green room, soon to be blue, on Saturdays. This year we gave $17,201 to various nonprofit charitable causes through our Sunday offering. And we marched, and we rallied, and we showed up in the window of opportunity, and we are making a difference. Number 6. This year, the endowment received 3 of 4 installments from the UUA's Wake Now Vision Legacy Challenge at $5,840 each, not bad. And recently we received a federal PPP loan to grant that covers staff salaries for about 2 months. And boom, that's some of the best financial news I can muster out of this very challenging year. It is possible that our renters will be able to come back into the RE wing soon. It is possible that clever UUFSBers will create ways for us to run our auction and other fundraisers virtually. They're working on it. It's possible that those who have not yet made a pledge for the 2020-21 congregational year will pledge as usual or for the first time. It's possible that people who have not fulfilled their 2019-20 pledge will be able to pull some money up out of their own financial hole and send it to us. It is possible that those of you who have amassed some degree of fortune will feel moved to give us an extra 4 or 5 or 6-figure check. I hope at least some of this good stuff will happen. If you have it in you to make it so, please, please invest in this place that has invested in you. UUFSB needs that kind of love right now. And we are saying farewell to our beloved office assistant, Pat Kaminsky, who has been with us now for 17 years. A quiet, steady, friendly presence, ready and willing to help, call, answer, edit, copy, file, stuff, and keep us flush with supplies. If you haven't had a chance to contribute to her parting gift, make your check payable to UUFSB and note in the memo field on your check or on PayPal for Pat. We're going to miss her. And there you go. That is how we rolled in the congregational year just closing now. We flexed, we innovated, we stayed connected, we pulled together, we grieved and protested and served, and in the process, we grew our capacity to adjust to radical change. And now, personal milestones. Halfway through the year, a global pandemic and a tempestuous re-engagement with our national wound of racism, violence, and white supremacy combined to turn our lives upside down in a completely unprecedented way. Nevertheless, you persisted. June and I will read now the words you chose to describe your own personal milestones for 2019-20. From Gilda Candela, this year I've witnessed my son meet a difficult family crisis and become the best version of himself ever. I am grateful and very proud.
From Michelle Massimo, I was victorious over COVID. And my daughter Rebecca graduated cum laude with a BS in nursing from SUNY Plattsburgh.
Michael Hoffman, I connected with some long-lost cousins.
From Barrett, my son passed his orals for his doctorate.
From Janet Cagle, Janet's mom passes away at the age of 91 after suffering from dementia. Matriarch and mother of 7, grandmother of 21, great-grandmother of 22.
From Linda Cortese, my dad turned 90 last week.
Amanda Rowe, Zachary Ridgway and I got married. Zachary got his PhD and I advanced to candidacy in my PhD program.
From Andrea Villardi, I have completed and become an FDNP, Functional Diagnostic Nutritional Practitioner, and I renewed my real estate broker's license, walking 2 paths joyfully.
From Martin and Helena, Martin and I were joined in marriage.
From Shelley Paceras, I overcame my fear of technology and successfully recorded myself singing for a virtual Ollie choral performance and later for our fellowship choir.
From Karen Woodward, a realization. It's okay and good to share my vulnerabilities. Loved ones will rally to help.
From Peter Winkler, I retired my violin studio this June and celebrated it with a video recording of a piece that Peter wrote for my students. Oh, that was from Dee Dee Cook.
Kathleen and Larry Mazza, after healing from a broken foot, we were able to walk throughout my dream trip to Italy.
Joanne Hammer, grateful to be walking this great good earth for one more year and blessed to have the opportunity to slow down and think deeply.
Linda Michael, honoring the passing of Ed Michael, July 9th, 2019, loving husband, father, and papa, and dedicated member of UUFSB.
From John Lutterby, graduated from the Cornell College Extension Master Gardening course this June and enjoying gardening almost as much as Sarah and my grandchildren.
Bethany Riddle, my milestone, elected to the Board of Directors of the National Association of Training Directors for Psychology Internship of College Counseling Centers and watched my daughter rise up to junior high school.
From Michelle Massio, the honoring and passing of Howard, Michelle, Fabian, Ed, and Kristen.
From Gail Forrester, blessed to have bought and moved into my own home in Sound Beach. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
From Ron Rosenberg, being isolated in the house has made our relationship even stronger.
From Wendy Englehart, after feeling flu-like symptoms and a low-grade fever for 2 days, I made an appointment took and waited impatiently for COVID test results that came back negative.
From Joan Rubenstein, after 32 years of practicing psychiatry, I have happily retired.
Dan Weymouth says, rediscovered the joy of long walks with my life love, Deb.
From Nancy and Bill Lynch, our daughter Catherine and her beloved Marcus celebrated their first wedding anniversary this month. We love them both so much.
From Brigitte Simpson, feeling truly stuck these days. I was so close to landing a real job. It's gonna happen.
From Barbara Coley, thankful that via Zoom, the Racial Concerns Committee completed 5 of our 6 scheduled Reading Reparations Study Group gatherings, and looking forward to our final gathering in October.
From Maria Cotta, I started an abundant organic tomato garden from seed.
From Ellen Bartley, Dan and I became grandparents.
And from Maria Cotta, Daniela graduated from high school and successfully did her senior play on Zoom.
From Maria Cecilia Torres, I retired last August, and I love the new life.
From Joni 2020, celebrating another year of pushing myself to take risks and reach out to others, and not only surviving, but thriving.
From Lily Klima, grateful to have an article that I wrote published in Newsday and to have won first place in a virtual digital photography contest.
From Colleen Rudman, 2 of our grandsons, brothers, had important life passages this spring. Logan graduated from the University of Michigan and Hunter from high school.
From Maria Kata, Ariana completed her first year of high school.
From Nancy Hunter, I am opening a new chapter after many years of sharing my love of science in the classroom.
From Will Farr, Catherine learned to ride her pedal bike with no training wheels.
Woo! From Andrea Velarde, honoring my dad's 2nd year passing, missing him.
From Denise Stevenson, I got tenure as the Director of English as a new language in Riverhead School District.
From Greg Galluccio, crossing over from one job to another this year, feeling grateful and hopeful.
From Carol and Ted, Carol's mom, Dorothy Teeny, 88 years old, passed away on March 8th, surrounded by loving family. She will be remembered well for her tenacity, resilience, and sense of humor.
From Sylvia Kirk, about to get a new hip. Tennis, see you again next summer.
From Lorraine Stid, I obtained my original pre-adoption birth certificate and found and connected with birth siblings for the first time in my life.
For
Go.
Sherry, holding your mom's life transition with loving thoughts.
From Nancy D'Angelo, being denied many things that were taken for granted forced me deeper in. I have come to appreciate the beauty that surrounds us.
From Maureen Shaman, unmoored by employment, began learning dog clicker training, positive only, in hope of a career change to something fun and active, began Noom and rededicated once again to health and fitness.
From John Morris, Billy Morris received a master's in linguistics from Syracuse University in May.
From Laurel, I've reconnected with my niece after many years.
From Margie Allen, I learned enough about the Arabic language to be able to read aloud from the Quran. Not perfectly, but better and better.
Judy Stiebel, we are going to be great-grandparents around Thanksgiving.
From Lori Philstrip, our lovely granddaughter Maya was born in February.
And from Michael Vaughn, I retreated from a small rock slide I had set off on a steep solo climb and rescued myself from sorrows. I saw a few more of these fly by and various messages to my phone, and maybe there's some on the chat as well. But as I said, look for them in newsletters in the weeks to come, and share them with folks who weren't able to be here today. And how can you not be in love with these people? All these people, all the things that they've been going through and achieving, your friends and fellow congregants. When you're stuck in the middle with folks like these, stuck looks just like an opportunity for creativity, for discernment, for taking a risk, for learning and facing the facts, for deliberate growth, for spiritual practice, for breaking out of unhealthy patterns, for clarity, for seeking help, for knuckling down, for speaking up, for rest and healing and renewal, for learning how to love yourself and others well under the most difficult conditions. This is good company for these times. Our closing hymn is number 18 in our hymn book. What wondrous love, wondrous love. That's what we've got here. The power to mend the web wherever it is frayed or torn. Bethany is going to play a brief introduction. Sing to your friends this hymn, wherever you are.
Our chalice now will be extinguished, but its light lives on in the minds and hearts and souls of each one of us. Let us carry that flame with us and share it with those that we know, with those that we love, and with those that we have yet to meet. We carry the flame.
We invite our bell to sing to us again as we step across the threshold, moving out of the sacred space and time of worship back into the flow of our everyday. May something you heard, something you felt, something you saw here in the sanctuary of this good company encourage and sustain you until we are gathered once again. Amen.